Good morning. Very nice to see so many faces in the morning. Okay, before I start, my colleagues are passing around these little nuggets of chocolate. Please take one, but don't eat it. Don't eat it, okay? Until I tell you to. And for those who are allergic to nuts and wheat, you cannot eat it. Okay? You can pass it to your neighbor. So just let that happen. Okay, so today's topic is about food, right? And the brief was, go and talk about food. Okay. That's a huge area to cover. And so I think we wanted to narrow it down, and I wanted to talk a little bit about meaning and food. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my relationship with food and how Bettr Barista started a little bit. And, you know, hopefully we have some insights from there. Okay, important, favorite food and drink. This is the easiest question ever. Can I just get a few people? What's your favorite food? Just shout it out, please. I just want to wake everybody up. Pizza. There you go. That's easy. Any others? Char kway teow. Yes, also mine. Any others? Satay? Okay. Prata. Oh, ang more man like prata. Very good. Okay. This is mine. Oh, you can't really see, chicken wings. I will kill for chicken wings. Any chicken wing, okay? Steak as well. Very carnivorous, but, and drink. Apart from coffee, obviously, but beer as well, okay? And I think the key thing with the food that we like, it's, I also like soup. So I went to research soup. I have no pictures of soup because I finished them before I can remember to take photos of soup. When was the first soup? What was it made of? What do you think? Anybody know this? The very first soup that was ever made. This was verified by Google, okay, by the way. Hippopotamus. 6,000 BC, apparently, okay? I couldn't check with the hippo, but that was what it was like. So, okay, I hope that got the brains going a little bit. Has everybody got their coffee? Yeah, okay, good. Okay, so there are three essential things in life, right? Air, which in this day and age, we know is relevant. Water, right? And Singapore's got that sorted as well. So our never-ending supply of water. And then there's vegetables. Oh, that's what Mum says, but to me that's food, okay? Food, right? So water, air, and food. So you don't need anything else in life to exist. So we talk about our relationship with food. Food is hugely political, it's cultural, it's religious, it's social, and it's very personal. So I'm not going to tackle any of those things on top because we'll be here forever. And then, you know, so I'm going to start personal because obviously that's what I know. Food is the most primitive form of comfort. So who lives to eat? Wow, that's surprisingly low. Yeah? Okay, I thought we had more people who would live to eat. Okay, that changes things. Okay, never mind then. Okay, then for those of you who don't live to eat, welcome to our world, okay? Because I can tell you for the people who live to eat, our life is very simple. It is very, very simple because if you need comfort, you eat. And then you get happy. And we all want to be happy, right? So that's a very simple equation to life. So for me, okay, so and for those of us who live to eat, food is often personal and it's pleasurable, right? How does food make you feel? How does it make you think? And what does it make you do? So for those who don't really think about food much and you just eat it because you're hungry and you need to fill your tummy, these are questions that go through my mind every time I eat something, believe it or not. This is a good one. He who distinguishes the true savor of his food can never be a glutton. He who does not cannot be otherwise. I'm not saying you're gluttons, okay? I'm just saying that where food is concerned, a lot of us eat without tasting or feeling or thinking. And it just becomes something that we do. But when you start to connect what you put in your mouth to what you taste and feel and think, you start to put words to that taste and that feeling. And when you start to put words to the experience that you're having, it completely transforms the experience. Because you start to become aware. Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody got their not Kit Kat? Because I actually went to look for Kit Kat, and then I saw the ingredients list, and I was like, nah. Okay, so for those of you who can eat what's in your hand, do me a favor, open it up, okay? And I want you to hold your nose, bite it, and then chew. Okay? So chew, eat it like you would be eating it normally, but don't finish all of it. Hold your nose, and then halfway through that piece of chocolate, I want you to just release your finger. Hold, chew a little bit, then release your nose. Notice the before and the after. Yeah? Did we get some? I got some. Okay, so chew, and then... Okay, so what happened there? Sorry? Yeah, you tasted something. Yes, when you released it, right? Okay, so this one I learned from Heston Blumenthal. I will credit him, for those of you that know. He's obviously a big proponent of tasting and feeling. So this exercise is basically, when one of your senses is down, and importantly, your sense of smell, you actually don't taste much, right? So I think that's really a simple but important thing to think about, because if all your senses are not open and aware and aligned, you're not going to taste the full experience of whatever you're supposed to taste, right? And I think that very simple thing, that relationship we have with food, relates to everything else in our life, right? So when you realize that, and you start to pay attention and to observe and to then start to know yourself, right? Because you start to understand what you like, what you don't like, and you start to question that. Why don't you like this? Why don't you like that? And your relationship with the external world completely changes. I know it sounds very intangible and fluff, but try it, okay? For those of you that don't live to eat, or who live to eat but haven't really sat down to pay attention with your food, try that. From today onwards, whenever you put something in your mouth, you're eating or drinking, stop and just pay a little bit of attention to what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Is it the texture? Is it the flavor? Because I guarantee you, you will change your relationship with how you consume anything from there onwards. So this is my relationship with food. I don't know if you can see it. Can you all see anything from the back? No? Can? Okay. I will point out certain things, okay? Because I was trying to talk about this, but I couldn't. So I drew a little chart about it, and there are key things with it, right? So from 0 to 12, I was force-fed because I didn't like eating. So my mom would complain that I had to be force-fed. And then I discovered food. So that relationship completely transformed, went up to a higher level. Don't ask me what the axis is, okay, because I didn't do very well in maths. So it's just my own axis, okay? And then, as I grew older, I discovered hawker food and made a little bit more money, discovered better food, and then I started a business at 26. And I went down there because my diet started to consist of $3 mee pok and instant noodles, because that's what happens when you start a business and you have to save your money for stuff like computers and paying staff and things like that, right? So those of you who are thinking of starting a business, right, just note your relationship with food. I swear you will follow this path, okay? So survival mode, and then things got better, and then I discovered the Michelin star chef and all those glorious things about food. And it went all the way up, and it became a hedonistic pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I would chase after culinary delights week in, week out. And it was wonderful, right? Because it opened up a world of the chef. And if you know chefs, if you know the culinary world, it's fascinating. You know, the obsession, the perfection, the attention to detail, the just OCD, it's basically OCD, right? And the experiences you feel, you know, on a very tactile level is different too. And that went on for a while, and then it got normalized, as most things. And then I started another business, and it went down again, because obviously, you know, but it didn't go down to that level because now I'm older, I cannot eat instant noodles anymore, so, and then it goes on, okay, so I just found this fairly fascinating. I don't know if those of you who have experience with the same kind of relationship, but it mirrors your life, basically. And we know this, right? If you're happy, you eat. If you're sad, you eat. You lose a job, you eat. You get a job, you eat. It's addiction. And nobody knows addiction like Singaporeans. With food, right? So food and drink, it's Singapore's addiction. We're obsessed with it, right? We would go the far ends of the earth for it and queue up for it as well. So my question is, if we could channel that passion and that fervor into something outside of our own personal hedonistic obsession, could something special happen? Because it's all in the pursuit of our own pleasure, right? Something that we do every day, 3 times a day. Talking about passion, what is your passion actually? I don't know if you know this chap, Umar Haig. He talks about it in a way which I really think is great. You know, what is it that breaks your heart about the world? Because it's there that you begin to find what moves you. And if you want to find your passion, you surrender to your heartbreak. To me, that sums up really what it's all about. So what breaks your heart? I know there are designers in here, right? Are there designers in here? Yeah. What breaks your heart, designer? Huh? All designs? Any other people? Do you know what breaks your heart? Yes. Sorry? Poverty with kids. Yep. Poverty with kids. Okay. Any others? Nothing breaks your heart. You're very lucky. Well, what breaks my heart? The little cute kid breaks my heart. Bad food, obviously. Bad coffee. That one really breaks my heart, if you can't already tell. Unfulfilled potential in people. That's a tricky one. So I did an exercise as well, because I was looking for photos for this, right? And I found a trend. You notice anything? Notice anything? Very good, yes, happy face. Yes, and I realized every time I had, okay, forget the beer photo, okay, that one was, but I had such a happy face when I ever had a cup of coffee in my hands. It made me truly happy. This was before I started Bettr Barista, okay? So that's a clue, okay? Because you capture the things that are important to you during the moments that are important to you. right? So that was my clue. And I think that personal meaning lies at the confluence of your passions and your heartbreak, because we can be passionate about many things, right? But maybe only one thing breaks your heart. So when all of that converges, you know, in an economically realistic way, because we're in Singapore after all, you may have found your life's work, as I have with this. Okay, so welcome to the better world. I'm going to just talk a little bit about that, where we are trying every day to make better versions of coffee and food, of things, and people. So we started with Better Barista, Coffee Academy, and the idea, very simple, is to change lives through coffee. I'm getting bored listening to myself, so I'm going to play you a video. That should hopefully, in 3 minutes, give you a better idea for those of you who don't know what we do. All right, but essentially it's changing people through the act of creation and the act of consumption. Okay.
Such a beautiful smile. You make the world a happy place. Every time that I see your face, I'm reminded that you are mine. The sun rises another day. There's no one that can take you away. Your smile can make the gray sky blue. There's no one really quite like you. You're something special. Such a beautiful smile. I truly cannot compare. You're an angel just so rare. You light up all of my life. The clouds clear all the rain away. And I pray that you will stay. And I'll always be true. No one really quite like you. You're something special. And time will try to keep us all apart. But I know that your love won't ever break my heart. Such a beautiful smile. You make the world a happy place. Every time that I see your face, I'm reminded that you are mine. The sun rises another day. There's no one that can take you away. Your smile can make the gray sky.
Okay, I guess that was clear-ish. Okay, thank you. So that's what we've been doing for the past 18 months. I don't need to talk anything more about it. So the whole question of how do we use food and beverage to do more with our lives and our existence, and to me, that was very important. Having run a business prior to this for 10 years, the tool of business is so powerful to do more than just make money, for ourselves. And this is my huge social experiment on that. It's not experiment, okay? It's for real. So with that in mind, we move beyond the personal now, a little bit more into the social and the economics. Right, okay. So 1 in 7 people are hungry in the world, and 1/3 of food is wasted. Okay? 925 million people are hungry in the world, and 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how that happens. How there can be so much hunger and yet so much waste. And for every hungry person in the world, 1.4 tons of food is wasted each year. I don't know. I think we need to change this. But obviously, we can't do it, individually. Well, we can, actually, because I'm going to talk about that. So let's talk about coffee, okay? Between 1.6 to 2.25 billion cups of coffee are consumed daily around the world, of varying standards, obviously, okay? Imagine if we took 10 cents for every cup of coffee that is drunk every day. That adds up to $160 to $225 million a day around the world. A day. What does that give us? That's $100 each to 1.6 million starving children. And that $100 feeds them for an entire year. So, very simple, very, very simple idea. If anybody wants to help me make this happen, you can come and talk to me because I haven't worked it out yet. But it's a simple idea. But, think about it. You get the picture, right? You get the picture. It's just 1 cup of coffee, 10 cents a day, every person. We're not going to go into the politics and cultural issues of this, right? So this leads to things like meaningful movements related to food. Buy fresh, buy local. I think we're all doing that in some way or form, okay? And that's a great start. Suspended coffees. Everybody heard of this? Who hasn't heard of this? You haven't heard of this? Oh wow, okay. Okay, very good. Suspended coffees is the whole idea of you buy coffees for people at a coffee shop in advance. So you go up and you order a coffee for yourself, and you pay for 3 more coffees, right? And those 3 coffees will be then given to the next person behind you, preferably who may not otherwise be able to afford that coffee. Okay, so apparently this movement, I think, started in Italy a long time ago, but with social media, obviously. The Facebook page was started 27th March 2013, and it garnered 92,500 likes in just 3 months. Those of you in social media, who's in social media here? Is that impressive? Yeah, okay, that's just incredible, because just how does that happen, right? It obviously is resonating with people out there. Okay, closer to home, chop food. Know this? Who knows this? Who doesn't know this? Huh. Okay, you need to know this. Okay? So this is a local movement, started 2nd April, okay? And they've got 9,000 likes in just 3 months. That's really impressive for a local site as well. And the whole idea is that you will go to a hawker center, to your stall, buy your char kway teow or whatever, and pay for a couple of other people's char kway teows, and the store owner would then give it to the homeless. Do we have homeless people here? Yes, we do. We don't see them, but we do. The poor auntie, uncles, whoever, okay? And that's the movement, okay? And it's garnered huge traction, and it's just an example of something that's, again, very simple, but very doable, okay? So we also decided to do something apart from running the enterprise to celebrate all things better, okay? And we started this last year, something called Better Week. And it's basically a week of celebrating living, doing, thinking, feeling better, what does that mean? For example, last year we did buy a meal, give a meal, right? Where for every meal that we purchased, that same meal would be offered to one of our chosen beneficiaries. Last year was Mother and Child and Beyond Social Services. So you paid $75 for a meal, and that meal would pay for yourself and somebody else, and everybody came together. This was held with Food for Thought, another social enterprise. And yeah, and during this meal as well, because we're all about coffee, right? We had a latte art throwdown, okay? And this was involving the industry. So baristas do this all the time, right? They will come and they will, oh, I show off my latte art skills. Yeah, okay. So they all came, and this time we just thought, okay, let's just put a little bit more meaning behind it. So whatever proceeds that went from the throwdown went towards our beneficiaries, right? And the baristas felt good doing what they do, and they contributed back as well. So small, but it went very well. So this year we're doing another one, okay, in July. The focus is a little bit different, women and craft, because craft, right? Coffee is a craft. Many things are craft. Cooking's a craft. Design's a craft. Film's a craft. Music's a craft. They're all craft. And in relation to food, we're doing another one, buy a meal, give a meal fundraiser, right? And this one will be a pop-up concept. No details yet, because it's pop-up, right? So we'll just pop up lah. Then when you're there, okay? So just like us on the Facebook page for updates, okay? Those are coming out really soon. But it would be great to see some of your faces there. So I think I'm just going to end off, again, just asking you to think a little bit about the idea that doing something that you do every day to exist can mean more, and you can do more. So just think about how you want to do that. And have more coffee. Thanks for coming, and have a great weekend.
Hi, so yeah, we're going to take any questions. I know we're a little bit over time, but if there's any questions for Pam. Yeah, go for it.
We know that Singaporeans spend a lot on food in Asia Pacific. I think the most in Asia Pacific, about $320 a month. What are your thoughts on that? Is it because it's cheap to eat out, so you eat out all the time, or some forms of food is really expensive, and so that's why we spend so much on food? So what are your thoughts?
I think Singapore is a very unique culinary world because we've got this full spectrum, right? From very cheap char kway teow and chicken rice, all the way to your, 3-star quality, your Chef Andres and all that. And I think the average spend is, because we have such easy accessibility to great food at low prices. Why would you stay at home and cook? It costs more to cook at home, right? Those of you that cook. Yeah, it costs more to go out and buy groceries and then go home and slave over your stove for 1-2 hours. And then we're working hard all the time, from 8 a.m. Well, those of you today will be 9:30, I think, through to 8, 9, 10 o'clock, right? So we're spent by the time we're done. So we're lucky, we're very lucky that we have access to cheap food, fairly good food, 24 hours a day. And that's why I love this country. That's why I'm here. Because we can live that way. So I think, and then you've got your ultra rich, which I think there are many more now in Singapore, and they spend a lot of money because they can enjoy the good things. And again, we have that choice. So I think Singaporeans are very, very lucky. They should really stop complaining. Yeah.